Hello again, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. We're going to jump back into yet another mail call. There's been so many questions flooding in. Even product showcases and reviews, yeah, they get a lot of views. But I believe mail call is more important for you and I because a lot of you guys are starting to learn. And I want to answer your questions so you can get out there and get to work on your car, get that thing looking good. Or if you want to start to do it as a career, I want to get you guys jump started and motivated so you can get out there and get your business going, growing. And in the right direction. So let's get this started. We are going to work in yet another top 3 for the year-end awards. And tire dressings. And that can be broken down into many categories in itself. Water-based, gels, coatings. So today we'll take care of simple water-based dressings. They may not last the longest, but I believe they look rather decent compared to some of the other products out there. So we'll get to those. So without further ado, we're going to get to your questions from mail call. And like always, I'm going to supply an email link down below where you can send those questions. The first question comes from Andy, and he wants to know about these products. And I just reviewed one, like the McKee's SiO2 polish. Turtle Wax has one as well, the SiO2 Hybrid Solutions ceramic wax and polish. When I'm finished polishing, do I spray an IPA solution on there to get the wax residue off, or do I just leave it go and protect on top of that? And I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's say I just used the Hybrid Solutions ceramic polish and wax. Now, I'm going to let it cure for 2 hours minimum. It should be longer than that, but in a shop setting, in a higher volume setting than just being an enthusiast, sometimes those are a little bit unrealistic. So, yes, I don't leave it go. There is a little bit of polish residue that I like to remove, but I don't want to remove the SiO2 that has been laid down as my foundation coating. So, what I do is I grab a microfiber and I grab my stripper, my panel prep, my IP solution, whatever you use. I'm not going to spray directly on the panel. I don't want this to soak in there and break down and lift the SiO2 that is the base coating. So I just spray the microfiber and just dampen the towel lightly. It's not dripping wet. It dries quickly. It's mostly an alcohol solution, isopropyl. Then I'll walk up to the surface. And I'll gently clean one section at a time. I'm not rubbing hard. With the damp portion of the microfiber, quickly flip over and buff to perfection. Then you're ready to lay down whatever type of protection you choose on top of that. So I hope that helps. Okay, the next question goes to Richard Barrick, and he wants to know about an update on the Seracote trim coat that I laid down a few months ago. And the reason that there hasn't been an update on what I laid down is because there has been actually an update to their formula. Tweaking it a little bit to make it easier to apply to the flatter plastic trim compared to textured, so it doesn't leave any type of streaking or marks or high spots. So it's been crazy busy here, and really I would love to. I have so much to share with you. I could probably make 2-3 videos per day easily without running out of any subject to talk about throughout a year's time. There's so much I'd like to share with you. There's a lot to do here at the shop and some other stuff. So I will get busy on a video on the new formula and what that looks like being applied to both textured and smooth plastic pieces, plastic trim. So please be patient and stand by. Okay, next, Coy Burgess, and he's hand polishing a 2015 Lexus, and he tried a few different things. First of all, it's very difficult he's working on holograms and some swirling, and some imperfections, spider webbing, and it's really kind of hard to remove those evenly by hand. I really would recommend, if you can, to pick up Just an entry-level polisher. You can grab a couple for under $100 now at Harbor Freight, and I gave you the model to choose from. And there's a couple bad ones at Harbor Freight. You can stay away from them. That's a different story for a different day. Pick one of those up and pick some panels up if you're not comfortable jumping on to a polisher, but you won't get in trouble with a lot of those entry-level polishers. They only have an 8mm throw, and they don't have a ton of power. So I would recommend grabbing a polisher, and you can then evenly remove imperfections. The clear on a 2015 Lexus is going to be soft. So once you get used to a polisher, it won't take long. You know, this is the winter months here. I'm not sure what region you're from, but by the time you get used to the polisher, it'll be spring and summer, car season. So then you can jump on it and make it look really good. But with a polisher, and I'll give you a pad and a polish, which would be 3D1 and a Buff and Shine polish pad. The one that's white in color would be the perfect combination on that paint to give you the turnaround you're looking for. If you do it by hand, it is really hard to get it even, and it's going to be a lot of work for you. You're going to be worn out at the end of the day doing it by hand. Just a suggestion. All right, the next question goes to Richard McClendon, and he wants to know, what glass sealant do I recommend? And I'm going to give you examples that I would recommend on in three different categories. One, a prosumer version that you could pick up anywhere. Another one you have to order that's a little bit more concentrated, and then one that's a professional one that you can still get. So on a prosumer version would be the glass sealant from Griot's Garage. It works perfectly fine. Put a layer on, wait a couple minutes, put another layer on, and then wipe off with a damp microfiber. One that you would need to order, it's not found everywhere, is the Jade A63. This is a sealant for glass. Spray it on to either the glass itself or a microfiber applicator, massage it in, and wipe it off. And then on a more professional level, if you want something more long-term, I have a kit here I'm about to break open, and hopefully I can get some footage on that if I have enough time. And that is the Raincoat from Tax Systems. That is a professional coating. Those are three that I recommend. Okay, the next question goes to Thomas Myers, and he's working on an '07 Toyota 4Runner. It's very dull, and he's getting a transfer of white from a light-colored substance from the vehicles to his pads. That should be clear-coated unless it's been repainted or resprayed at one time where they just used a single stage. So heavily oxidized is going to be my guess without seeing a picture of it, and that is the clear coat rubbing, you know, the dead molecules of clear rubbing back onto the pad. And to get rid of that, it's just Toyota, which is going to be thin and soft. You don't need an aggressive pad or polish choice. And again, I'm going to recommend 3D1 and a white Buff and Shine perforated polish pad, a foam pad. That should be plenty to get rid of that light oxidation and leave as much of that thin clear coat behind to protect the gorgeous white color underneath there as possible, and that's what I would recommend. Question goes to Kyle, and he's sharing a wash routine where he foams the car, and instead of rinsing it and going to a multi-mitt method that I use, he has a couple towels soaking in ONR, which helps with lubrication, and then he goes to town, one towel per panel. You know, that's another way to go. To each their own, and that sounds like a great way not to introduce dirt back into the bucket. However, the only thing I recommend that you add to that method is to rinse the first layer of foam to get rid of as much grit as possible, and foam it again. Then go ahead and do it with your bucket of towels soaking in ONR. It's quite similar to my multi-mitt. You're just using multi-rags a lot more, and you have them soaking in ONR for extra lubrication. Go for it. Question goes to Bruce Heckler. He wants to know what type of wash mitts I use. I use 5 of them, 2 from Luxury Microfiber, and you could probably already tell without me even mentioning the names. And then also 2 or 3 from the ragcompany.com, and they're both fantastic. I love them both. Okay, let's take a quick break from mail call, and I can continue with the top 3 year-end awards, and this category is tire dressings, water-based. So, number 1, you haven't even seen yet. I've been using it and haven't had time. Again, I wish I had more time to do more videos, but I will showcase this just about finished with this bottle here, and this is SB3 Tux. This is a water-based tire dressing. And I'll show you if you're looking for a new tire look or a gloss tire look, whatever you're looking for, you can get from this single bottle, and I'll show you exactly how to get that. Number 2 on my list is going to be another, again, water-based tire dressing. That is EcoShine Tire from IGL, and this works just as good. Number 3, when I did a review on this probably last year, I wasn't keen on it, and as I've been using it and have figured out, the exact way to apply it and how to make it look the way I love it to look, the Aqua Bead from Malco has grown on me and has moved into the number 3 spot. You can revert back to that video. And since I've learned a lot about it over many months of use, I'll shoot another video for you guys and show you what I can get out of it. So that's the top 3 for water-based. We also have gels and tire coatings to go. We have a lot of categories to cover yet. Stay tuned. Okay, next question goes to Dennis Prater. He's working on a 2019 Ford F-250, and he wants to wash and clay it, and then he wants to know what type of protection I recommend for that finish. He mentioned the Turtle Wax Hybrid line, which is absolutely fantastic, and the TAC Moonlight, the TAC Systems line, that's absolutely fantastic. Something to keep in mind, just some quick tips, when you go to wash and clay, because he's just starting to take care of his own vehicles in a more extensive way, put a plastic bag over your hand and feel down the side of your vehicle from the top to the bottom. And where you feel some bumps, that's bonded contaminants, and that's where you need to clay. I only clay when and where needed, because after a clay, you need to do at least a light polish because you're marring the vehicle. Clay is abrasive. So, you mentioned protection. After that, you also mentioned the hybrid solution line, and I know there's a lot of questions as to how to get the most out of the line. So, first, grab the ceramic polish and wax, and that's what you're going to do after your clay, and that will remove all of the marring from using the clay and bring out depth, clarity, shine, what you're looking for before protection. After this step comes the next step, and that's your hardcore protection, and this is a concentrated spray coating. You want to put this down next. Let it cure. When the vehicle gets dirty, you want to wash and use the ceramic wash and wax. Next, that will clean your car, it'll cleanse it, and it'll lay down yet another layer of protection as you're washing it. Then while it's still wet, you can grab the ceramic wet wax and use it as a drying aid or a standalone detailer, whatever you prefer. And then in between washes, if it gets dusty or you just want to put down another layer of protection after a nice, decent contact wash, you can grab the 3-in-1 detailer. And you use those in that order. And that's how you maintain the base coating. And it will last as long as you keep maintaining it, and it'll look fantastic. So that's one way to go about it, and a great way to go about it. Hope that helps. Okay, the next question goes to Gregory Pichur, and he is going to grab the Bauer Polisher, and make sure you get the good one, by the way. Again, this is the second time I mentioned this in this video alone, but he wants to know if he can add a 3-inch backing plate and pad to it. And they do make great 3-inch polishers. And to be quite honest, it's the only thing I'm using this here for. I couldn't find a use for it any other way. One thing you want to keep in mind, when you go down from the stock backing plate that they send with these polishers, the smaller you get away from that stock backing plate, the more of a wobble or a little bit of a vibration at certain speeds you're going to get. Just because this counterbalance was made for the stock backing plate that they send with. You can do it, you can change backing plates, but the performance and the feel of the polisher will change. I just want you to be ready for that. Now, what I can't recommend is for you to do that to the 20 millimeter polisher that I just reviewed. Okay, Israel Garcia wants to know 3 ceramic coatings I can recommend. This is going to be his first time attempting it on his own car. And they're getting very easy to apply and remove. And just as long as you have a nice shaded area, a nice clean area, you'll be good to go with CarPro, Kamikaze, G-Technique, and there are a few others. And I'm not just speaking of entry-level coatings here, guys. Even some of the more concentrated 4-5-year coatings, like the Adams Tracer, is a 5-year coating, and it doesn't get any easier than applying this product. IGL has Quartz, Poly, Quartz Plus, and they are multi-year coatings that are so easy to apply. So yeah, any one of those, you will be absolutely fine. Just take your time, find a nice, clean, sterile place to do it if you can. And if you can, do it out of direct sunlight and away from extreme heat and humidity. Hope that helps. And the final question of the evening goes to Tom Gorgel, and he wants to know what is the benefit of purchasing or picking up a long throw polisher, say a 21 millimeter compared to an 8 or 15 millimeter throw. And those I really only recommend for those that do this long term for a living, or if you have a large sized vehicle. Why? The longer throw, the oscillation is going to be larger. It's going to get work done quicker because you're covering a larger area. And because the throw is larger and the speed and the energy is transferred to that pad, you're going to get a quicker cut as well. So I would recommend being used to a polisher before grabbing a longer throw, and I recommend for those that are doing it every day, and speed is of essence, and also if you're working on a larger vehicle. I hope that clears it up, but it really is as simple as that. So that's going to be it for Mail Call again today, and the questions are flying in. I love it. I will supply the email link down below, and when I need to, I'm sending emails back along with this video because there's so many, but I'm going to pump out as many of these Mail Call videos as it takes to help you all out. Love you all. Catch you in the next video.